Guys, I'm giving you 23 simple tips to help you guys elevate your gameplay, win more consistently, and hopefully have a lot more fun in Warzone. Let's get into it. All right, guys, tip number one is gonna be clearing staircases. Whether it's outside, whether it's inside, it doesn't matter. We have an enemy we just heard land on our rooftop for whatever reason. I guess they came back from the gulag and they decided, you know what? I wanna come here. But notice how he's clearing the staircase. Let's rewind. We put our body out. So if the enemy's on the roof, whether it's with a pistol or not, and he looks down on this back corner that's above us that we can't see, and that's the problem. We can't see it, and he shoots at us, he's gonna nail his headshots, and we have a huge opportunity to die. So what you gotta do is clear it as you're going up. Because right now, not only are we vulnerable to him, but it's taking us a little too much time to clear the staircase, so we can get killed by another Joe Dirt behind us at any given point. Also, the thermite, I'm not mad at the thermite play, but we heard him land on a rooftop. We didn't hear him jump down again. Even though footsteps are bad, those are usually pretty accurate. So at this point here, and this is kind of unrelated to clearing the staircase, just an extra tip, he's above us. We can't fight him. He's gonna be too scared to move. We need to change position. Why would I change position? Well, he's got a pistol, so I'm not afraid to get on the rooftop next to me, or even maybe further back on the rooftop over here on the mini-map. You want to create a little separation to give yourself a better angle on the enemy. Not to mention we have a cluster, so if we go to the rooftop and we cluster the enemy, it's going to force them to jump down, and at that point we can get an easy shot on somebody that's parachuting off the roof and again has no pistol. So there's just way better ways to fight this enemy and clear the staircase than what he did. All right, second tip's going to be how to push a building effectively without dying, and the decision whether you should push it and when to push it. Because right here you're going to see, we'll just let it play out and you'll see what happens, and we'll discuss how I would have pushed it and how I recommend you guys push it, or even if you do at all. So we're kind of watching for a long time. And then he jumps out and re-challenges again. So if he was cracked, I wouldn't be against pushing the building, because if he's cracked, he's going to be plating up most likely. And even when you're pushing, if you notice what he did, he's trying to keep his eye up here, but then all of a sudden he diverts it downward. He had the right idea. As he's pushing up, his crosshair, his reticle, the little dot was sitting up here. So if he does re-peek and we ADS, he's right there. But unfortunately, as he got closer, he got complacent, dropped that reticle. So when he did re-challenge us, we're going to take a little bit extra time to ADS to him. The decision whether or not to shoot, when to shoot, whether or not to push, and when to push. So right here, I don't mind you shooting him. He's vulnerable. But we should have started shooting at him the moment he stopped. But we hesitated, and that amount of time could have been extra bullets on him to kill him easily. But we didn't even get to crack him. Now, because he's not cracked again, this is when you decide, do I want to push him or not? Now, the only way up here is the ladder on the right-hand side of the building. Got to learn the building layouts to know that. So at this point, I don't feel comfortable pushing him. Even if he is cracked, I still wouldn't push this building. There are certain buildings I would. This is not one of them. So I would be playing this wall right here, whether it's this side or this side. I'd be most likely playing this one. That way he's forced in there. He's trapped. And if he does happen to reach out like he does, we can be right there to get a couple extra shots off and kill him, but we don't. And the enemy just happens to look right where we were at and see us. Now, how do you know we were over here? Well, I'm sure he looked to our last location. So all he had to do was just micro correct a little bit downwards. And just that split second hesitation, I know he was dropping his crosshair to us. So again, make logical decisions on when to push a building or not to push a building, judging by the distance between your cover and the building. Is the enemy cracked or not? Is he a big threat or not? And is this building easy to push? Now here we are in game. It's a 1v2 situation. We need to lead the team above us to make them either one, jump off the bridge and hopefully pick them one at a time. It's our only shot, or two, maybe even get a double kill. So we have a precision and we're aiming it at the edge of the gas. So where's the route going to go? Well, the plane will always fly up from behind you and go where you launched it. So it's going to go here. It really doesn't give you much room to work with. You just got to hope to God they're playing the edge and they stay there the whole time. Well, what I do? Turn your body to the right and you launch it this way. You want to line your body up with the bridge and where you launch it. That way, when the precision comes in, it comes in from behind you and launches on the whole bridge. You have a better chance at getting a double knock. Unfortunately, he doesn't. Now, look at the plane route of the precision when it does come in. He calls it. We're facing this way. And again, the map's going to change because of our direction, but it's going to come in basically from where this vehicle is, because that's behind us and it's going to go right over our head no matter what. That's the direction we launched it. And we didn't move, so again, comes by the truck exactly the way we're facing. A lot of people don't know that the precision is directional based too. You can also tell a lot of times the direction it was called in if you are the player getting precisioned on. So see a lot of times I'm spectating games and players are like, I don't know where it went, where'd it come from? Precision happens, they start looking 360 degrees. Again, follow the plane. That's where it got launched from. Another tip, guys, keep visual on any area an enemy can push. For example, we have an enemy hitting us. I don't mind him falling back, but we have to play this ridge. Now, right now, we can see 1 and 2 areas the enemy can rotate. What about the third? The enemy's probably going to be pushing up our left-hand side, and we can't see it. So where would I play? Well, if you're going to sit here, why not go to here? Let's go 10 feet to the left. Play the rocks, and then you can see all angles of around you if, again, you're going to play the spot. And this is extremely crucial in any gunfight if you're holding or gatekeeping an enemy. Put yourself in a position to see the entire push. Otherwise, he's going to flank up behind you. And right now, he's even getting further back away to where you can't even see the right-hand side, and that's another mistake. So he's making his job a lot harder, and the amount of time he's taking to gatekeep this guy, the enemy's just gonna wrap behind us and make our life a living hell. All right, next tip, guys, one of my pet peeves, don't play the edge of the zone. Now you might be thinking, Savage, you're a psychopath. No, look, the edge is for you to feast, because a lot of people instinctively think if they play against the edge, their back is safe because that's where the gas is. So all they have to worry about is what's in front of them. And that's so true. Problem, you're gonna get gate kept. Now, with the exception of your last few in-game circles, do not play the edge. Otherwise, it makes your life a living hell. Right now, we are a trio and we're being shot by 1 player. He gets the knock and he is again just gatekeeping us. And he got another kill. So he's killed 2 of us, or he's down 2 of us, gotten 1 execute, and he's holding this building. Zone's coming in, so he's going to probably rotate elsewhere and continue to gatekeep us. Why? Because he's a feaster, and he's feasting on players like this who are playing the edge because they think it's comfortable. I promise you guys right now, beginning and mid-game, if you stop playing the edge and you start pre-rotating, you'll be the guy gatekeeping teams and doing this to them instead of these guys. And unfortunately, 1 player took out a trio just by simply gatekeeping. So take this tip for what it's worth. Either A, don't play the edge, or B, learn to gatekeep. Tip number 5, guys, when playing a game that's team-based, duos, trios, or quads, you want to utilize teamwork to play together. If you find enemies in a certain area, especially on hot drop, you need to fight it together. I'm jumping off the roof trying to full send it. Unfortunately, our first teammate got picked because he was by himself. Art got picked because he was by himself. So me and Anx are gonna try to utilize our teamwork to hopefully clear out this fight. We don't know if it's 1 team, we don't know if it's multiple, we have no idea. And notice how I'm scanning around. I started shooting the body and then I decided, no, what I'm doing is I'm not going for the execute, I'm baiting the shots, because if I shoot my gun, I'm expecting the enemy that's in here, because we know there's another one here, I'm expecting that enemy to peek out and start shooting me. So you notice I shoot, I divert my attention. I shoot the next one, divert my attention. I don't care about the execute. It's not right now, not unless they're self-resing. I'm trying to bait his teammate out of hiding. If you guys land down and holding hands, you know, it's not preferred, it's not fun, but like play relatively close together so that if your 2 teammates do go down like this, we can diverge on them.
2 right next to us, 2 on us.
And here we have another team.
He's 1 here.
And notice how we play this. We push together. Now, I divert to the left-hand side because they're probably expecting me to rotate back to the right, and I was correct. So instead of sitting there next to Anx and re-peeking and having more bullets come my way and possibly get knocked because now I'm cracked, I just simply flanked to the left-hand side. And again, even just in a duo situation, it was an easy fight that was won. Also, the enemy teammate went for the execute. There's duos, trios, and quads. You're always better off fighting with each other, because if one of you goes down, no matter what, your teammate's there to help you out. And right here in this situation, we're going to mark the squad, which I'm not against. But unfortunately, that dude's teammate comes in And our teammate is able to deliver a death blow to that dude and save our ass. So look at how all three of us were together. They work together. They're playing together. It's all about teamwork, baby. It's all about teamwork. Don't execute. Play your life, right? And this is kind of the same tip, but from an executing standpoint. Again, you've got the teammate down. I just landed in. He should know that from hearing the parachute. I'm an easy target, and I'm vulnerable, and I'm underplated, and I have a garbage gun. But instead of him just looking to his right and beaming the living shit out of me, because I would have died.
Wow. Why is he finishing?
He went for the finish, and it cost him his life. And again, it's kind of similar, but in this position here, this guy definitely would have shit on me. All right, tip number 7, we're gonna keep it quick because most of you guys should know this, but I know a lot of you guys that are newer to this game don't. If you look at the mini map over here, you have these dots. These are from UAVs, and you see these little arrows above them, aka chevrons, right? It's above them right now, which lets me know these guys are an elevation above me, meaning they're higher than where I'm at right now. If the arrow's below the dot, they're below you. If the dot has no arrow, it means he's on our level. So I know at this point, this guy in the building is in the doorway and he's on our level. Next is gonna be teamwork, focus fire. A lot of times players like to get their own kills. If your teammate's shooting at one guy, you're gonna try to fight another for whatever reason. Focusing fire, especially when you're in a bad spot, is the best way to do that. In fact, you can kill enemies a lot faster if you shoot them together. Example.
Crack above me.
I cracked him. My teammate shot him. I say nice. He's knocked. Communication's on point, and again, team firing the enemy. Seems basic, but after all the games he spectated, doesn't really happen often. Tip number 9 is going to be tap your self-reses. If you have teammates next to you that can safely get to you, have them tap you so you don't waste your self-res. Even though right now you can carry as many as you want, you're still better off saving it because you might need it later on. So guys, again, try your best to utilize teamwork to get there safely and tap the self-res so you don't waste it. Now, I said safely. If your teammate's in a bad spot and you can't get to him safely, it is what it is. It's all fair game. Don't sacrifice your life to get the team res off, because at that point, you're in the exact same boat you would have been in if you would have bled out. All right, so at this point in the fight, we need to get our teammate back. My dude is down. I want him back in the fight. 1, because we're outnumbered, and 2, because that's just a way to play the game. That's a way to be a team player.
I'm gonna smoke this thing out.
So there's a buy station next to me I cannot get to because the team on the boat is holding it. They're not allowing me to do it. So I just simply throw out a smoke. It's a very simple tactic a lot of people don't utilize. You can also throw out smokes if you just feel uncomfortable going to a buy station that may or may not be contested. Smokes are great to help you get to that buy. No one can see me. I'm able to buy everything I want. And la-di-da, I even go in there and I buy Yui. That's how much time I have. So you can guys utilize smokes. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about headies. Now, right now, he's just throwing stuff at me, but if he was to shoot, we'd only be able to see his head, and he'd still be able to shoot us. Right now, my upper chest and head are vulnerable, so I have a bigger hitbox, so I'm an easier target. No matter how bad you are at aiming, it's always better to shoot an enemy where you can see most of his body. So high ground's gonna be your best, and of course, this is higher than us, so all I have to work with is the head, unfortunately. And it's a lot harder to hit those headshots when that's all you have to work with is the top of the head. And I hit it on that one. But again, he's still able to get some shots off, and look how beautiful that is. He's shooting me, and that's all I can see. So it's a lot harder shot for anyone than it is if he was to be standing up here, just running out in the open. So if you have any kind of hard piece of cover, try your best to use it to lower your hitbox. All right, I'm gonna give you 2 tips right now with this gunfight about to take place. 1, when the enemy's not in your crosshair, learn trigger discipline. So we already missed 4 bullets. We hit 1 because you ran into it. And we've proceeded to miss the rest. Now, we're down to 19 bullets when we started with 39. So we've wasted 20 bullets. Now, the problem with this is, even if the guy behind us doesn't shoot us and doesn't down us, even if we got out safely, we'd have no bullets to fight with. Trigger discipline's a must. When you guys start learning to be more accurate instead of just spraying and praying and just seeing what happens, hoping for the best, your gunplay will dramatically increase, and it takes time. I literally started sniping and using pistols only back in OG Call of Duty days just to hone in on my skill to not only track the enemy as I'm shooting single bullets at a time, because I forced myself not to rely on the spray and pray of the SMG and the AR. So I forced myself to track while I shot, which made me better with my eye-hand coordination, better at tracking, better at flicking, but I also practice headshots with that as well. So utilize that tip to your advantage, guys. Now 2, our teammate should have held a better angle. Why? Well, watch. So right here, we're holding a doorway, which isn't bad. Well, 1, we have the Fennec and we're slowly backing away. So the further back we get, the less damage this gun does. 2, we're being live pinged by his teammate over here, probably the whole time. He's literally following us and just looking at us. So the enemy in here knows where we're at. 3, that's not the only way you can get in and out of this building, homie. He could come out the window. There's a door on the backside. There's other windows on the backside. So if he jumps out and we're in the open, not plated with a Fennec, are we gonna be able to kill him? No. So what do? Well, you could execute his teammate and just run to a better spot. And again, gatekeep. Notice common recurrent theme. Execute his teammate, run on one of these titties, sit on top of it, and just wait for him to run out. Easy beams. But instead we do this. And again, when the enemy jumps out on us, which he will, we can't do anything. He literally one taps us because we're not plated and he's probably got the RPK. Let's be honest. All right, right now, guys, we're gonna be talking about how to get yourself in a good position and allow your teammate to res you safely. A lot of times when people are in this position, they just lay there and they're like, yo, res me, bro, I'm safe, but you're vulnerable. Notice how I'm crawling to another room. I'm crawling up the stick. Now listen to what I say.
I didn't know you were in my gulag.
Listen.
Okay,
Keep going. Keep going.
If you want to res right here and just hold that angle.
Are they first 4 or what?
So my teammate's rezzing. Now, why is he rezzing right here? Well, if they push in that doorway, his body's safe and his head's peeking over the staircase right here behind my camera so that he can see. And then if he needs to, he can stop, have enough time to whip out his gun and shoot the enemy because he have to run up the staircase towards him. Put yourself in a good position if you're able to do so. Sometimes you're out in the open, you just have to lay there. But if there's any kind of vehicle or something you can get behind as cover, not just to not get killed, but to also protect your teammate, that's what you guys want to do. All right, this fight right here is a really good fight to talk about when to push an enemy. So when you have long range fights like this, it's hard to tell sometimes when to push because there's a wide open area, if you look on the mini map, that you got to cross. What I like to do is call the old knock and push, right? Basically, one of your teammates has to get a knock.
Yeah.
Then when they do,
Just every bullet.
you just simply push in and kill them. No matter how many
Is he still right here?
players are on this team, that's the play you want to get.
Broken.
Right now I'm using the precision. This is a side tip. Using precision to force him out from behind the tree because I can't see him. So I want him to run. That's why I launched the precision. Not to get the kill, to force him out of his position to make him vulnerable. And there he goes. He runs. And to get the armor hit. Hopefully waiting for him to stand up right now. And notice how I'm giving live pings. I'm giving updated pings for my teammate consistently. Every time he moves, as my teammate Inks is pushing up the right-hand side, I'm giving him, if I can't live ping it, I'm at least pinging. That way when he pops up, he knows exactly where to look. That's going to be another tip for you guys. Ping the enemies. That should be common right now, but it never is. So I got the knock. The moment I got the knock, Inks is safely able to go up, and we're going to push. We now outnumber the squad. Art pushes in more. I got him suppressed, and now this is my opportunity to get closer and help out my teammate. So now we have multiple enemies.
I'm coming.
And again, you know, everyone always asks me, Savage, should we play as a role? Like, should we have like a team healer, team sniper? Play what you're good at and always adapt. But what I like to do is always play the back end support. I like to be the guy that gets the picks. I like to be the sniper. I like to be the one that supports my team and covers them as they push up and close the gap. My strength is sniping. My weakness is mostly SMG gameplay. I'm not bad, but it's definitely my weakest point. So I allow my team to take that over.
Sure, you want to jump off? Here, I'll jump off. There's a guy under the bridge, I mean.
And even that, you notice how I peeked the first time, just checking if he was there. Instead of just sitting here waiting to see him, I'm peeking. I'm keeping my eyes open, going back to the first few tips. You can never know where they're going to come out at.
Sure, you want to jump off? Here, I'll jump off.
And then I go back
bridge,
and I check again, and there he is. And thank God we checked together, so we're able to both put shots on him and get the kills. Just like in the last video, we have an enemy here that is shooting us and suppressing us. The enemy does a great job of forcing us back, allowing him to push up, just like in the last tip. But watch what he does differently. Because the whole time we're consistently peeking, meaning we're about to shoot him, and he's always got his eyes on us. We keep repeating the same window. Guys, I love the fact that Grizz is looking around, but change your angle, change your position. Otherwise, you're a very predictable player. So if you have a building like this, Another tip, guys, change your angle. That way he can't close the gap. And this guy seems goated, so he's probably going to end your life. All right, so now the enemy's pushed up. I'm going to give you guys 2 tips real quick. 1, we're on the 2nd floor. The enemy's clearly good. He's clearly pushing us, so we should be holding the staircase. So another tip, guys, hold the best point of entry if you're going to hold it. Instead, we're laying prone in a corner, watching a doorway. Now, another tip from this is baiting for the shots. So right now, the enemy's waiting to see where we're at. When we bust the door open, a lot of times, enemies like this will just start spraying. So now we know exactly where they're at, judging by where the bullets are coming from. Secondly, his laser, right? I know a lot of lasers are hidden, but a lot aren't. So now he knows we're here holding the angle. So it's going to make the enemy just kind of step back a little bit and play the patience game. And again, what happens? We get curious, and now look at us. The enemy's got an actual gun out. The Fennec is great, but at this range, you're going to die to things like the RPK, the TAC 56, the TAC V, anything that has a lot more damage at this range. The Fennec is great. It can kill people. It's not faster than that. Here's another tip, guys, is sometimes it's not really feasible. Sometimes you get distracted, and really, in all honesty, it's not really his fault, but just something to be aware of, guys. When you have a lot of bots around you, what you want to not do is just shoot them just for the fun of it. If you're practicing your aim, that's one thing, but as far as strategy, be aware. Also, be aware of the fact when a bot shoots at you, it also gives away your position, just on the fact that now an enemy knows you're somewhere close to the bot. So if you are near an area of bots and you don't want to be known, get out of there. But right now we're spectating Lunatic, and he's trying to be observant. He's trying to look everywhere, and you can't check everything, right? He cleared a building already, so he really doesn't know what's around him. And again, we're getting too hyper-focused on bots. And unfortunately, there happens to be a guy sitting in the house that he didn't clear, and he got shot in the back. Sometimes you can't help it, but again, another tip, do not shoot bots unless you absolutely have to, aka doing a stronghold, or you're in the middle of a fight and they start shooting you for no reason at all. Next is going to be sensitivity, and we're going to kind of throw in holding staircases with this too from a different angle. Let me explain. So we have an enemy pushing up below us right now. We hear him. And right there, his aim kind of goes a little everywhere. Now, I don't know if he's a mouse and keyboard player. I don't know if he is a controller player, but first things first, we hear him under us. He's got to come up. We're better off sitting here holding the staircase than going in front of it, allowing the enemy just to see us when he's walking up. If we were holding this, it would take a lot longer for the enemy to turn, if you saw my first example, to see us in the corner. And a lot of people are probably like, well, I don't want to shoot the bars, and I feel that. It sucks, but we have 30 rounds and this gun kills fast. I'm pretty sure you can shoot him enough times, even with the bars deflecting some bullets, to get the kill. It's still better off than this. And look, he happened to be clearing the staircase successfully. He did a really good job. He was looking that way, but unfortunately, because of our whip, we just didn't track him fast enough. That's really a reaction time on his part, but as far as clearing the staircase, he did a good job. Now look at our aim. I'm going to try to do this slowly. Notice how he instantly goes one way, and then he tries to micro correct and he goes too far the other way. And then he's finally able to lock back on, but then goes up to the left, right? That is coming down to really just your sensitivity, your HEADYS sensitivity. And see, he goes back up to the left. You can use what you're using now. It's just take some time to get those reps in to master that sense. If you find yourself overshooting the target as he sidesteps, turn your HEADYS sensitivity down. If you guys feel like you can't track him fast enough, turn it up a little bit. It will change your close range and your far range, but you can tweak those as well. All right, next tip is going to be ping for reference. When you guys launch UAV, if you see an enemy or multiple enemies on the minimap, pull up your map and ping it if you're safe to do so. For example, right here, he launches a ping because he sees an enemy and he doesn't want to lose them. That's exactly what he does. If there's multiple enemies, then what you want to do is ping the guy you plan on killing second, right? So you can memorize where the first one's at, go kill him. And then after that, you're like, okay, where's that ping at? I kind of got lost, don't remember because the gunfight took too long. And then you have an idea of where he's at too. The next tip is, guys, pick the best position for your fights. We have a bounty in front of us. We know there's a chopper, right? We know there's enemies there. I only see one enemy in the chopper. So where's his teammate? We have no idea. We should have pushed instead of in the open through the cornfield with those different levels. I don't know if it's corn or not, but push with those different levels. We did. We pushed out in the open. That was a bad spot, but now we put ourselves in a worse spot, in a kill box. Everything around us is the high ground. We can't see shit. All they gotta do is look down on us and see us, and we're an easy kill. There's his teammate shooting us from behind. We saw the enemy by the chopper as well. And we're cracked. Now we get real lucky the enemy doesn't peek back down and try to shoot us again. Marlboro Man's gonna try to do a wider flank, which I have more respect for. But the problem is our teammate is over in the buildings. So another little trick, if you're playing duos, play with your teammate. We've been in this fight this whole time and he's still in the building looting, doing nothing. If you guys have teammates like this, join our Discord. We have a looking for groups page with over 14,000 members that you guys can hopefully find people that actually want to play as a squad. Instead of helping, he's just gonna run away. All right, so Marlboro Man had died from that fight clearly. This is minutes later. And he's in a solo situation. Now, prior to this clip, one of these enemies has been knocked and the other one is cracked. So they're both relatively the same health. We're flying in right now. So who do we challenge? Do we challenge the guy who just self-res, or do we challenge the guy who's playing cover? Well, the guy that's looking in your direction, he can't see us. He can. And even though he might calm that we're behind him, in the small amount of time we have, probably not. So focus this guy. Instead, we focus the other one while he's staring at us and we go down. No surprise there. So if we would have focused this guy originally, we could have just 1 or 2 tapped him. We've already shot 2 bullets. He'd be down at this point. And then at that point, we could divert, shoot this guy in the back a few times, and he'd be dead before we can turn around and even know what happened. All right, here we are playing on the edge of the gas. The next tip's gonna be find a game plan. When you look at this zone, what is your first instinct? If your first instinct is not to get on that interstate bridge, you are incorrect. Now, why? Well, the circle could go anywhere. It could favor any location, but because it's basically center and there's only a few points of entry to it, it's your safest spot to be. Now, this is the high ground, but it's on the edge, and the odds of it circling back to favor that are very slim. And again, when you get to this size circle, you can guarantee some point in the middle will be favored in the next circle based on the size of the next circle. So again, I'd get my ass to this bridge instead of this rooftop like most players would play. I can't stress to you the importance of pre-rotating, even at end game. Even when you miss your opportunity the first few times, you still have to push it. Instead, here we are with that exact same zone, the exact same match, and they're playing hella slow just for this to happen. One teammate goes down. Here we are trying to sprint to action, but unfortunately, again, because this team got to the bridge first, they have one of the best positions in this circle, period. Plain and simple.